welcome to our faculty recital. It's a beautiful Sunday. It was kind of rainy, but our music is going to make your day much better. So you're welcome, everyone. I'm Sila Darville. I play the violin, and I'm so excited to be here with my fellow faculty members, Dr. Sutherland and Dr. Taylor. And it's just great to have such good musicians in the EKU School of Music to collaborate. It's always a privilege to play with my friends. This whole program is either based on Oriental-inspired music or truly Oriental music. By Oriental, it could mean the Near East, where I am from, Turkey, our neighbors, Armenia, Bulgaria, or Far East in the case of Ravel. So you will hear a big array of music, different styles. The first one that we're going to play is a trio written for clarinet, piano, and violin by Khachaturian. Khachaturian lived in the early part of the 20th century. Actually, not really true. He died in 1978, so he had a long life, and he composed this piece when he was still a student at Moscow Conservatory. I had no idea this piece existed until I was listening to his violin concerto. On the same CD, I heard this, and I thought this is the most beautiful thing, so we have to play this. There is not a lot of trios for violin, clarinet, and piano. Usually the combination is either clarinet, cello, piano, or clarinet, viola, piano. This is one of the three really big pieces. The other ones are Bartók and Stravinsky. And it's a shorter piece. It's completely based off of folk tunes. The last movement especially is going to be based on this existing folk tune from Uzbekistan, which is a Turkey country to east of Turkey. And the construction is slow, semi-fast, and slow. At the end of the last movement, it kind of dissipates into nothingness. It's very beautiful, very peaceful. The Armenian composer Khachaturian, actually, when he lived, it wasn't considered Armenia, it was considered Soviet Union. And he, I think, grew up, don't quote me on that, but I think he was born in Bulgaria, so there's a lot of, ethnic things going on in his case, and in his music, it's very, very easy to trace all the Oriental, or in his case, his own folk tunes inspired. Okay, now I will say the same thing in Turkish. Selam herkese. Bu pazar günü bizi dinlemeye geldiğiniz için çok teşekkür ederiz. Bu konserde doğudan esinlenilmiş eserlerden oluşan bir program çalacağız. İlk eser Khachaturian'ın clarinet, keman ve piyano için triosu. Bu kombinasyon çok bilinen bir kombinasyon değil. Genellikle clarinet, piyano, cello veya viola ile eşleştirilir. Ama Khachaturian özellikle Doğu müziğinde iki tane soprano sesin önde olması sebebiyle iki soprano enstrümanı öne koymuş. Khachaturian bildiğiniz gibi Ermeni bir besteci ama doğduğu zaman da Ermenistan olmadığı için Sovyet besteci kabul ediliyor. Şu an Ermeni asıllı Sovyet besteci kabul ediliyor. Bu eseri Moskova Konservatuvarı'nda öğrenciyken yazmış. Çok güzel, bizim özellikle Türk müzik kulağına çok yatkın bir eser. Son bölümü de Özbek bir halk ezgisinden esinlenilmiş. Genel olarak eserin kurulumu yavaş, hızlı ve yavaş olarak devam ediyor. En son bölümde de eser sanki çözülerek havaya dağılıyor gibi bir etkisi var. Umarım beğenirsiniz. Baştan söylemek istedim. Bugün Türkiye'de sağlık çalışanları günü. Bütün bu virüs döneminde yaptıkları çalışmalar için bütün sağlık çalışanlarına, başta benim kendi teyzem ve kayınvalidem olmak üzere çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Bu konseri onlara adamak istedim. Sorry, I forgot to add this. Today is the day, the Healthcare Workers Day in Turkey. I thought it was an international thing, but Adria said that it's not. So I would like to dedicate this concert to all the healthcare workers in the world that helped us through this really strange pandemic, especially my aunt who's a doctor, and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law who are nurses. Thank you. welcome back. I really hope that you liked the first piece. The second one is a piece that I actually recently found out through San Diego Symphony's chamber music series, which is kind of sad because this is a Turkish-American composer, and I wasn't the only one, because after I put a snippet on Facebook, all my Turkish friends texted me and asked for the name of the composer. His name is Eryilmaz. He apparently studied in Turkey and then studied here for a little bit. Now he is residing in Texas. I believe he was born in 1989, but that was just one obscure source, so I exactly don't know how old he is, but he's a living composer. He composes a lot based on Turkish folk music. This piece has 6 movements, and they're all based on different folk tunes. The first one actually is a folk tune from the Istanbul region. It's a tune that belongs to the Roma people, and it talks about, they're all kind of goofy. This one talks about how the people in the lower neighborhood are like super stinky, and the people who are in the higher neighborhood are super posh and super good looking. So it's kind of making fun of the rich people. And I think it's not just Istanbul, but all the Balkan region of Turkey uses the same tunes, because there's a lot of Roma people that settled in that region. And they are good violinists. They play from the get-go, like 5, 6 years old. They give them an instrument and they become this natural musicians. The second one, I didn't realize that this is not a folk song. The second one is not a folk song, so I didn't realize it was a pre-existing song. This is composed by a very famous folk singer in Turkey. It's called Ellerinde Pankartlar, which means, I don't know, when you go protesting, what is that called? The signs in your hands. I think that's what it is. And it's about, it's a political song about 34 people getting killed on 1977 International Workers' Day celebration in Istanbul. So it's very sad, and in that one you will hear, starting with the second moment, you will hear some quarter tones in the violin. And that means in classical Western music we have half tones, we have whole tones. In Turkish music and Balkan music, I should probably include, we believe that within each whole tone there are 9 quarter tones. So you will hear some sharps that are not quite sharp, some naturals that are not quite natural, and he indicates it with some arrows going up or down. So that's a very interesting one. And we will do a little bit of singing with the second song too. The third one is a southeastern Turkish song, Delilo. It's a love song about how this beautiful woman is like the best person in the entire village. The fourth one is again a song that I didn't know. I think this is a Greek-Turkish combination song. It's kind of, in some versions you hear it a little bit upbeat, in some versions it's really sad. This one kind of gives the feeling of a little bit of a sadness. It talks about, again, a new bride, how beautiful she is, and how, she should stop playing games with him, stuff like that. The fifth movement is Tiridine Bandım. That one is a really, really goofy song. I used to sing it a lot when I was a king, when I was a kid. Not when I was a king. I would love to be a king, but The fifth movement is talking about this, like, the words are really funny. One of them says, oh, the water buffalo put his baby on the tree. I can't believe that you think that I cheated on my, transactions. I actually paid the full price for this food. It's really, really funny. And the name of the song, Tiridine Bandım, Tirit is a type of food, and it literally says, I am dipping my bread into this type of food. It's really funny. And the last one is Giresun Karşılaması. Giresun is a town in the northern Turkey, and actually the origin of the town is a little closer to Celtic. They have almost the same instruments as the Irish people. So in that region there's a small instrument, like maybe 1/8 of the violin, that's called kemençe. It's a stringed instrument, and it has a slightly nasal sound. So it's trying to get that nasalness with the sul ponticello on the violin. So you will hear this really metallic sound sometimes. And I hope you like it. It's like full of cool stuff, very nice techniques. And my colleague Jason is the best percussionist probably in this part of the world, so it's gonna be a blast. Ben tekrar konsere geldiğiniz için teşekkür ederiz. Umarım ilk eseri beğenmişsinizdir. Bu ikinci eser benim yeni keşfettiğim bir Türk-Amerikalı besteci tarafından bestelenmiş. Şu an hala kendisi genç bir besteci. Kendisi şu an Teksas'ta yaşıyor. Ve bu minyatürlerin 6 bölümü de daha önceden var olan şarkılar üzerine bestelenmiş. Birinci bölüm aşağıki mahalle, bu İstanbul'da özellikle söylenen roman şarkılarından. İkinci bölüm ellerinde pankartlar. Ben bunun ne olduğunu bilmiyordum. Ruhisi tarafından bestelenmiş politik bir şarkı. 1977 yılında Taksim Meydanı'nda 34 kişinin öldürülmesiyle ilgili. O bölümde aynı zamanda bizim şarkı söylediğimizi de duyacaksınız. Üçüncü bölüm Delilo. Herkes muhtemelen biliyordur Delilo'nun ne olduğunu. Güneydoğu yöresinden bir türkü. Dördüncü bölüm Dolama Dolamayı. Benim daha önce duymadığım bir türkü ama çok güzel. Bazı versiyonları hızlı, bazı versiyonları yavaş. Bu bizim çaldığımız yavaş versiyonuna biraz daha yakın. Beşinci bölüm Tridine Bandım. Herkesin bildiği. Ve 6. bölüm Giresun karşılaması. Giresun'da genellikle gelinleri karşılamak için bando toplayıp, bando değil küçük bir grup toplayıp ona böyle bir gösteride bulunurlarmış. Ondan esinlenilmiş. Ve bu eserde Türk müziğinden ezgiler olması dışında aynı zamanda bu çeyrek sesler komalarda kullanılıyor. Yani bazı diyezler biraz daha pes, bazı bemoller biraz daha tiz. Ve hem onun yanı sıra da Giresun karşılamasında kemençeye benzesin diye kemanda bu köprüye daha yakın sul ponticello dediğimiz bir tını elde etmek istemiş besteci. O yüzden metalik bir ses duyacaksınız son bölümde. Umarım beğenirsiniz.
final piece on our program is the piano trio by Maurice Ravel. This trio was written in a really precarious time in 1914 in the autumn, which if you're a student of history, you know that was the outbreak of World War I. And Ravel, really anxious to enlist in the French army, he wrote this piece in a little less than a month. And he was interested to get it finished up in September and then enlist so that he could serve his country. And in his letters to his friends, he said he worked feverishly on this piece, more so than any other piece in his career. He wanted to write a piano trio for many years before this, but considered it a problem ensemble, the piano being, of course, more dominant in its sound than either one of the string instruments. And then the cello always had the problem of getting swallowed up and buried in the ensemble. So he was trying to figure out how he could write this trio in a way that would satisfy him from an artistic point of view. And so what he did to solve this problem, which you'll hear, is he would often put the piano or the violin 2 octaves higher than the cello in passages. So you could really hear the violin and really hear the cello distinctly. And he would tuck the piano oftentimes in between that range. One of the other things he did that would create more of an illusion to make this ensemble appear to be bigger and fuller is he would write orchestral passages for 3 people. What I mean by that is that he would use a lot of effects to create more noise than just one melody or a melody and accompaniment could make. In this piece, you're going to hear a lot of effects that you will not normally hear in a classical piece of music. We will do tremolos, harmonics, trills, slides, pizzicatos, plucking the instrument, all kinds of things to make it appear as if there's more than just 3 instruments playing with different textures. It's a really genius composition, and I hope you'll hear that as you listen to the movements. The movements are interesting to note in terms of their unique structure. The first movement is a typical form, which is called sonata form. There's 2 main themes, and then there's a development of those themes in the middle, and then a recap of those themes at the end. But Ravel here, he borrows the rhythm that you're going to hear. It's a very peculiar offbeat rhythm that's not regular. He borrowed that from the region in France known as the Basque region, which is right on the border of Spain and South France. It's kind of a separate cultural region from the rest of France. And he borrowed a lot of the rhythms from the first movement. And I have read part of the melody, but he mistook it. It's not from there, but he thought it was. And he used that in his movement, the first movement. The first movement is chaotic and peaceful. It alternates. It changes a lot, but it ends in a really beautiful, almost heavenly way of peace and quietude at the end. The second movement is perhaps the most interesting. The title of the movement may not be familiar to anyone unless you're familiar with Malaysian poetry forms. It's called a pantoum. And a pantoum is a Malaysian poetic device. As far as I have been able to tell, I've never read a pantoum myself, but I've researched one. And where the stanzas, 2 of the lines, the rhyming lines from the first stanza, are then borrowed and inserted in the next stanza, something like that, where you see a continuation. The prose is unified by shared material between the stanzas. When Ravel, apparently he never said why he called it a pantoum. It's definitely not in any way related, as I've been able to find, to that Malaysian structure, except for the fact that oftentimes he'll take 2 themes and put them on top of each other. You'll see them kind of blend together. So he'll borrow one theme and he'll introduce a new theme, but keep that theme going through it as a connective device. This movement is a scherzo, which means it's playful and light, and it is very intricate and full of rhythmic changes. The third movement changes gears completely, as it's called a passacaglia. A passacaglia goes back several hundred years before Ravel to the Renaissance and the Baroque era. And a passacaglia is a compositional structure where the whole piece has a repeating harmonic bass that goes over and over throughout the whole piece. And this one is very slow, starts off incredibly mysterious with the left-hand piano playing by itself in the low register. It's joined in by the cello and the violin, and pretty soon it has a massive climax in the middle and dies away much like it begins. The finale starts with a flutter in the harmonics and the strings, and it just is completely different yet again, and it introduces a beautiful pentatonic melody in the piano, and the whole thing ends in a symphonic flourish, massive sounds, and very exciting. We hope you'll enjoy the trio by Maurice Ravel.
Bu resitalimizin son eseri Ravel'in piyano, keman ve cello için triosu. Ravel'in Fransız besteci Ravel. Çok fazla oda müziği eseri yok. Bir tane yaylı kuarteti var, keman sonatı var, bir de triosu var. Hepsi de meşhur, hepsi de klasik müziğin önemli eserlerinden. Bu piyano triosu için tam Birinci Dünya Savaşı'na da Fransa Savaşı girdikten sonra Ravel'in de savaşa yazılması gerekiyorken bitirmiş. Ama çok sıkıntılı bir eser olmuş Ravel'in besteleme sürecinde. Hatta arkadaşlarına demiş ki şu an eseri kafamda bitirdim, bir tek notaya dökmek kaldı. Bu özellikle Ravel'in kafasını kurcalayan şey piyanonun çok fazla piyano konçertosu gibi bir eser. Çok zorlu bir piyano partisi var. O piyano partisinin yanında keman ve cello'nun baskın kalmaması için ne yaparım diye düşünüp çoğunlukla eser boyunca kemanı cello'nun 2 register üzerinde koymaya karar vermiş. O yüzden kemanda çok tiz notalar duyacaksınız. Çok fazla yapılan bir şey değil normalde. Bu eserin 4 bölümü var. Birinci bölüm standart sonat allegro formunda. İlk tema eserin birinci bölümün sonunda tekrar geri geliyor. İkinci bölüm Phantom denen hızlı bir bölüm. Bu Phantom nedir diye ben baktığımda bir müzik formu değil. Phantom Malezya'da bir şiir formu. O yüzden bu ikinci bölümün kurgulanması çok enteresan. Hızlı bir bölüm. Bir kemanda ve cello'da bir sürü pizzicato duyacaksınız. Ama eserin orijinal formu şiirden geliyor. Orientalist kısmı da muhtemelen trionun buraya bağlanabilir. İlk bölümde kullandığı ezgi Ravel'in Fransa'nın Bask yöresinden bir ezgi. Bask yöresi İspanya'ya yakın kısmı Fransa'nın. İkinci bölüm bu Phantom dediğimiz Malezya şiir formunda. Üçüncü bölüm Pasacaglia. Pasacaglia tekrar eden bir bas melodisi anlamına geliyor. İlginç olarak ilk olarak piyanoda sol elde sadece duyacaksınız. Ondan sonra cello aynı melodiyi devralıyor. En son keman devralıyor. Çok düşünceli, çok derin bir bölüm, üçüncü bölüm. Dördüncü bölümde tamamen böyle hani sanki havalanırmış gibi bir etki yaratan kemanda ve cello'da birçok trill ve yüksek register'da notaların olduğu bir bölüm. Eserin sonuna doğru bu bir Türkçe konuşabilsem çok güzel olacak. Eserin sonuna doğru bu gerilim daha çok artıyor ve patlama noktasına geldiği zaman 4. bölüm bitiyor. Umarım hoşunuza gider. Thank you.